Training for another triathlon?
Yes, I train for triathlon. How are you doing, Mr. Sam?
I'm grand.
Oh, man, these weights, they're heavy, 20 pounds.
Oh, I probably couldn't even do that, but...
You know what we're going to talk about today?
Weight?
Weight, that's right. We're going to talk about molecular weight.
Okay.
So that's the weights of a molecule.
Why are you speaking in a funny accent?
Because I am pumping myself up.
And that helps?
I think so.
Oh, you're kind of trying to be like Arnold or something?
Is my name Arnold? No, I think I'm just Mr. Bergman, who's stronger than Arnold.
Oh.
He's just, I don't know. He's probably never done triathlon.
Probably not.
Probably not. So should we talk about molecular weight?
Okay.
So let's talk. Well, Mr. Sams, my muscles, they got bigger today.
Oh, they're huge.
They got, well, you know, for my triathlon.
Amazing.
I do a race this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yes, I got a new bike.
Nice.
So that will be good. Okay, so we're going to talk about the molecular mass or molar mass. What's a molar mass?
That's probably the mass of a mole would be my guess.
The mass of a mole. What does that mean?
How much it weighs.
So what units would you use for the mass of a mole?
Well, mass we usually measure in grams.
So, okay, grams.
So it'd be grams per 1 mole. Or grams per mole.
So this number would change, folks, as you went from one substance to the next.
Right, so every substance is going to have its own unique molar mass.
So call that like X. That number is going to change each time depending on what substance you have.
All right.
All right, so let's see if we can figure out how we're going to do that.
Alrighty.
Okay. All right, so. Okay, Mr. Sams.
Okay.
Iron 3 oxide.
Iron 3 oxide. Okay.
Now, I was kind of mean about this. I didn't like give you the formula.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Well, we learned about that in our last unit. So we should probably do a little review here. So iron, what's the symbol for iron?
Fe.
Okay. Iron 3.
That means there's 3 irons, right?
No!
Oh.
Not 3 irons.
Okay.
It's the charge.
Oh, that's right. The
charge. Okay, it's the charge is positive 3. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And then, of course, oxide.
Oxide.
That's O. And how would you find the charge of O?
Well, it's in the column where everything has a -2 charge.
Well, let's take a look at the periodic table. Oh, my calculator's out of the way. So what's the charge of the oxygen? Well, the charge of the oxygen is in this column, so that column is -2. All right.
If you're in my classroom, just look up on the periodic table. There's a little Post-it with it above there for you.
Yeah, it says -2. Yeah. So, what would be the formula of iron 3 oxide?
Well, we need the charges to add up to 0, so it's going to be Fe2, because we need 2 of those.
Fe2.
O3.
O3, that's correct.
Yep, because 2 irons will be +6, 3 oxygens will be -6.
So to find the molar mass, what we need to do is we need to use the periodic table and look up the atomic weights of each substance. So we have 2 elements, iron and oxygen.
Right.
So let's take a look at iron and oxygen.
Okay.
And so if we find iron right here, I gotta change the color of my pin so we can see. Okay, iron is right here, and his molar weight is atomic weight is 55.6, isn't it?
6. I don't know. I can't see it.
55.6.
I'm too far away. I can't see it.
And this one is 16.0, right?
Yep.
So iron weighs 55.6, and oxygen weighs 16. So if we go back to our screen. So iron weighs 55.6 and oxygen weighs 16.0, but we have a particular problem, and that problem, of course, is that there's 2 irons and 3 oxygens. So this is what I would do. I would say 2 times 55.6 plus 3 times 16. And so I can do that on my calculator right here. So my calculator's on. So I can say 2 times 55.6 plus 3 times 16. Push the enter button, and we get 159.2. Now, what would we do with that?
Well, we need a unit on that. And our units for molar mass are grams per mole.
So grams per 1 mole. Or just grams per mole. It's important when you write these, as you'll see later on, that you write them as a fraction. Do not write it like this, 159.2 grams / mole.
We don't like slashies.
No slashies.
And you'll know why later, because when we start to do more dimensional analysis that you've already done, we don't do slashies. We always put grams over something.
Yeah. All right, let's do a different one. And the second one, we have iron 3 hydroxide.
Iron 3.
So iron 3.
That means with a +3
you
charge.
You are so smart. How did you do that?
You corrected me last time with a really scary accent.
Very good. You must be right.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's the one.
So iron plus 3. Now hydroxide is
Yeah,
like
that's a
weird one.
polyatomic ion.
Poly
So
guy.
look it up on your list. It's OH with a -1 charge.
OH -1. And so that would be, now that means to add up to 0, you'll need 3 hydroxides. So you'd write Fe parentheses OH parentheses 3.
3. That means there's 3 of everything in there. 3 oxygens and 3 hydrogens.
So iron, we learned from just a little bit ago,
Yes.
weighs 55.6. Oxygen was 16.0. And I bet we don't even need to look at the periodic table. Well, we can. Hydrogen's like super easy. He's the easiest of them all. What does he weigh?
What?
What does hydrogen weigh?
One. Sorry, I was looking at something else. I don't think iron's 55.6. It's 55.8.
Look up there.
It is. It's 8.
Okay, well, it's 55.8. Okay, so I was wrong. I was convinced it was 6. Okay, so now we got to figure out how many of each there are, right?
All
How
right.
many irons are there?
There's 1.
So 1 times
Because that 3 does not apply to the iron.
0.8.
It only applies to things in
Now
the
this
parentheses.
is a little tricky. How many O's are there?
3, because the 3 applies to everything in the parentheses.
And then how many O's?
There are 3 O's.
I mean,
We just
how
said
many
that.
H's? Yeah.
There's 3 H's as well.
We can say times 1, but we don't really need to. So that's it. We just do the math right there, and we determine our number. So
Yep.
let's go back to our calculator. And so I can say 55.8. I don't need to say times 1, right?
Yeah.
Plus 3 times 16 plus 3. And I get 106.8 grams per mole. Isn't that easy?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do one more.
It's magical.
It's magic. How about aluminum sulfate?
Oh, that's fun.
Aluminum sulfate is fun. I do this because it's a tricky one, right?
Yeah.
You must have tricky ones occasionally, right? But this is the tricky
All right, aluminum.
All right,
has
now
a-
let's look at the periodic table.
Yeah.
What is the charge of... All right, aluminum is right here on the
Yeah.
periodic table. So what charge
That's
would
a
this be?
+3.
Plus 3. So
Yep.
we've got aluminum with a plus 3 charge. So aluminum with a plus 3 charge. And then
Yep.
sulfate is another poly.
That's not on our periodic table. That's on your polyatomic ion list.
So sulfate.
Yep, SO4 and has a -2 charge. Don't confuse it with sulfite. It's sulfate.
So how many... Now how do we make this
Well,
add
the
up to
charges have to
0?
add up to 0, so we're going to need 2 aluminums for +6
Okay, a plus 3.
and 3 sulfates for -6.
Because then the charges here, plus 3 and plus 3 add up to 6, and -2 plus -2 plus the -2 is -6.
So we've got 2
So
aluminums.
our formula is Al2
2.
parentheses SO4 parentheses
3.
3.
Okay.
Okay, so we do need to know the weights of aluminum and sulfur. I
Yes,
think we
we
know
do.
oxygen already,
We
so
do.
we're pretty good on that.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at our periodic table. Now, aluminum weighs
27.0.
26.9.
26.9 and some
So
change.
26.9 for aluminum, and then sulfur.
Well, it's 26.98
all right, so
or
let's go
something. Let's round up 27.0.
27.0, and then
Okay.
sulfur is 32 right here.
Yep, 32.0. We'll just
All
keep
right,
that one
so
decimal.
let's go back. I got to click here. Let's go back and let's do that. So aluminum weighs 27 and
27.0.
sulfur weighs 32 and oxygen weighs 16. They're all point zeros
Okay.
actually, right?
Yeah.
So we've got how many aluminums?
2 of them.
So it'd be 2 times 27 plus how many sulfurs?
I see 3 because that
I
3
only
applies
see
to.
1.
No, there's a 3 in the outside the parentheses.
So that means everything inside of this is times 2. So
Yep.
3 times 32
Yep.
plus oxygen.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Well, there's 3 times 4.
That'd be
Because it's
12.
3 times whatever's in the
So
parentheses.
12
Yep.
times 16. And that would be your molar mass calculation. So let's go to the calculator. 2 times 27 plus 3 times 32 plus 12 times 16. I like to do it all in one step, young people, because that helps us to kind of figure out the answer, and then you make less mistakes, I really believe. And we get the big answer of 342.
Grams per mole. No naked numbers. Put those units in there.
No nakedness allowed. Must have the numbers in there. So that's how you find molar mass. It's not really terribly
No.
difficult, is it?
That's it.
So that way you can pump yourself up all the
Yeah.
time, right?
I don't lift weights. They're too heavy.
Mr. Sams needs to get more exercise.
I
think.
probably do. I
All
chase
right.
my children around.
Yeah, well, that's true. Okay, we'll see you back in class. Bye.